Hey, my name is Emily Pennington. I am a frequent backpacker contributor and outdoor journalist, and I just went on the craziest Alaska backpacking trip. So I was doing something called the Oola Valley High Route in Gates of the Arctic, which is a huge national park. It's over 8 million acres, and it's up all above the Arctic Circle. And I wrote an essay about it for Backpacker. It's all about learning how to embrace the bog. Because even though I have been to Alaska, I'm in love with it. I've been to Alaska, I think this was my 5th trip. It was my first time going in July, and I didn't realize until it was a little bit too late and in the middle of the trip that Alaskan tundra can be incredibly boggy. So much so that it sometimes feels like you're slogging through a swamp for many hours at a time. I feel like the last bog before our final camp was one of the most horrendous moments for me, at least. After not having dry feet for about 8 straight days, we were at Oola Lake at the end of the trip. And our guides from Alaska Alpine Adventures were very gracious, and they were like, oh yeah, the campsite's just over there by the lake. And unfortunately, what we didn't realize was that we were going to be just slogging in boot-sucking bog for the next maybe mile. And it took like over an hour to get there. We're all exhausted and sweaty and looking damp by the time we got there. Over the course of the trip, because of the bogs and also the bugs, which are a very famous thing. People say in Alaska that the state bird is the mosquito. And it really held true in July in the Arctic. So one of the things that I learned in this trip, even though I've hiked the John Muir Trail and I've backpacked all over Colorado and California, is that I really learned how to embrace the bog, but I mean that metaphorically. Like, there was a morning where I woke up with a really runny nose and I was horrified that I might get a sinus infection in the middle of this 8 days in the wilderness, no roads, no trails, backpacking trip. And I just had to embrace the bog of my face. Even though I had a bug net, I very much had to embrace the bog of mosquitoes pretty much every single day, all day long. It doesn't get dark in the Arctic in July, so it was sunny 24/7. And so that means that basically you would wear your bug net like a uniform and like sneak out of your tent really quickly. And even if you had DEET or picaridin bug spray, the bugs were still ever present. They would just kind of hover around your face and your being. But yeah, just embracing how disgusting you feel, getting really zen about the fact that you have this incredible privilege to be in Alaska. That was a really key takeaway for me. Just looking around at the Brooks Range, which is one of the most remote, untouched ecosystems on the planet, and getting to wake up in that environment every single day and have breakfast and lunch and dinner in the fabulous, beautiful Brooks Range was so spectacular that it made it easier than it is for me, at least in the city in Colorado, to just really embrace discomfort in a new way and get really zen about it and really be grateful for every moment that I got to have in this incredibly remote, dynamic landscape. I would like to encourage everyone to get out of their comfort zone as often as possible. I think that forming new neural pathways is incredibly important, especially as we get older. I think that if you're able-bodied enough to go on a new trail or try something scary, like maybe you've never been backpacking, maybe you've never been pack rafting, there are a bevy of incredible guiding companies, especially if you're curious about going to Alaska. I personally loved going with Alaska Alpine Adventures. That's who guided me on this wild trip where you get dropped off by a bush plane and then picked up 8 or 9 days later by a bush plane. Learning about self-sufficiency, learning about your own edges, learning about how uncomfortable you can get while still having the time of your life is just an incredible experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, even if I did come home with like 30 mosquito bites.